Welcome back to the Reverse Scoop. It's the Cricket Weekly podcast with Nabil, and we have a very special guest. Do us the intro here, Nabil. Let us know who we have here on the show tonight.
Well, we got our very own USA International LA Knight Riders player and, one of the up-and-coming stars for USA Cricket, Shadley van Schalkwyk. Shadley, welcome to the pod, man. Welcome to the Reverse Scoop. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. How are you doing?
I'm always good. Firstly, thanks for having me on the podcast. It's unbelievable to be here, and it's been a while. But thanks so much for having me. Can't wait to get into it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. First of all, I want to remind our viewers, man, of your best ODI spell of bowling, 4 for 20 against Canada in Cricket World League 2 last year.
Edged and gone, and it's a wicket for Van Schalkwyk. And again, curtain falls. Shy of a big cut. 2.5 years since he left us. I can't believe that either. Gone. Another catch. LAKR, the latest to go. Van Schalkwyk does really well off his own bowling. I'm sure you're a Graceland fan, given the name of it. Van Schalkwyk. He's hit straight to cover. And look at that. He's 17 years of age. Look at the embrace he's going to get. And they fielded in the first innings. And that's going to be that. Van Schalkwyk will have 4. It's been a day of redemption for him on a level. And it's as comprehensive as you would like and imagine to close out what is going to be a 50-run victory. Canada.
This 50-run victory and Shadley leading from the front, man. I want to first talk about that 4th wicket, man, because that ball reverse swing from the way I see it. I don't know, Adam, how you saw it, but it reversed and, it looked like it was going to stay straight, goes in, gets middle and leg. So walk us through that final wicket there, Shadley. Was it reversing? What was happening, man?
It was actually reversing, yes. I think on the conditions and the wicket, or to the square, I'd say, allowed us to reverse or get the ball to reverse, which was quite nice. Doesn't often happen in ODI cricket, but when you can get something to do with the ball and the square is quite abrasive, you try to minimize the damage towards the end, and for that ball specifically, it was reversing quite nicely, yes, on the day.
Absolutely. And what kind of conditions? Was it dry? Was what made it reverse? It's what I'm trying to kind of figure out.
It was quite dry, so sort of the wicket was a little bit tougher than maybe looks. But the square itself, so you play on a few different strips, or you practice on maybe 1 or 2, and so those were quite dry also. So it sort of allowed us to bounce the ball in, and every now and then we beat the right side of the rough side, and we kept the one side quite as shiny as we could, and it went quite nicely. The ball started reversing nicely for us towards the end. Although the reverse swing was probably the last resort. I think cutters maybe worked a little bit better, but the reverse swing ball was the surprise ball of the seam up ball. I bowled a lot more cutters that day. And yeah, I was just lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time to pick up the 4 wickets.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Now, speaking of the shine, who is there someone in the team that's like the designated shiner? Is someone designated to that position? Like that, give me the ball, I really work on making it shiny?
I think there is. I think most teams now, we probably would nominate 3 or 4 guys to look after the ball. I think if too many people look after the ball, it's like too many cooks spoil the broth sort of thing. So you sort of nominate, especially the guys that are possibly not bowling, because bowlers' hands get a little bit sweaty, so we can get on the rough side or the dry side too much. So we try to stay away from the bowlers when the bowlers are bowling, unless they've got a towel. But there's a few designated, I think. Milind works quite well with the ball, and Andres works very well with the ball, and there's a few guys that sort of, because of the slips, then they shine it. So I think that's key, looking after the ball, especially in one-day cricket, because how fast the game's moving along and how well batters are batting these days.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, that.
A lot of the.
You go.
No, go ahead, Adam.
I was thinking it's like an underutilized skill. I feel like in Australia, when we played longer form cricket, like you always had someone shining the ball. Someone was always focused on making it. And then coming to the States, I feel like no one is really paying that much attention to who's shining the ball and how much shine it's getting. I have the gloves on, so I'm not can't help no one shine the ball, but it's good that someone's on it.
It's usually figuring out who has the least, like, wet palms, right? Because guys with wet palms will mess the ball up, man, if you have a wrong guy dealing with the ball. So you need dry hands to take care of the ball. Is that right, Shadley? Do you guys look into that?
We do. You definitely do. I think because I mean every cricket is different. You get some guys that just before they even warm up, they start sweating. So yeah. I mean those guys you keep the ball away from. The guys that are, it's more the batters to be fair that don't sweat as much because they're not bowling. They're just sort of running around there and they get to rest a little bit. So it's more the batters that I especially like teaching to how to look after the ball too, because they're probably the ones that's going to get the ball the most in the field, because they always tend to hide the bowler somewhere or hide the seamer somewhere. But I mean, yeah, it's important to look after the ball. But if you have 4 designated guys or 3 designated guys, you make sure they're in the right positions to work on the ball before the bowler gets it.
Yeah, I like that. And it doesn't matter if you're reversing Nabil. On the weekend we reversed Nabil. He hit a big 50 on us. That ball was absolutely toast after like 10 overs. There was no coming back for that ball. That ball was toast. Absolutely toast. Yeah. He smacked us around the park.
I think 60 in the power play, right? Or 70 in the power play. So that will do it in the ball. Yeah.
It was a lot. He was smacking that ball around all afternoon.
Yeah, it was a good game of cricket, man. It's a good game of cricket. But Shadley, let's talk about a little bit of your early life journey, man. From Wynberg School, Wynberg Boys High School, cricketing. Where your roots are with cricket. I think is where you started. Big names like Jack Collis, come from that school. So, was that like a big part of your early cricketing journey, like having those big names at your school, and obviously them being part of that school, and they were obviously role models for a lot of us growing up. So were you also in that mindset when you started playing cricket?
I think so. At least. I played a lot of different sports. I think before I got to high school, I was playing 5 different sports. And because I think I was encouraged to play as much as I can, which I absolutely loved. And if I look back, I wouldn't do it any different. But I think Wynberg played a big part in my cricketing journey, especially the earlier, later off, if I can just say that. I mean, I always played cricket. I went to a school, Kirsten Prime, which we played once a week. I played club cricket for a team called Victoria. So I think all of them helped my pathway. But as soon as I got to Wynberg, sort of the game started happening on weekends. So I couldn't play club cricket. So it was a full commitment in the summer to play for Wynberg. But they played a massive role. I think if we look back now, we took for granted what facilities we had, firstly. There's not necessarily all the coaching, because I know it's changed now completely. It used to be, okay, what sort of math teaches off at the end of the day, you take the team for practice. And I think it was just more management thing, getting guys to enjoy it. But in saying that, we were practicing good conditions. We practiced on turf wickets. We were very fortunate. We had very good cricketers come through. And so the practice was always good. Wynberg played a massive part in it. My first team coach and my under 15 coach and under 14 coach probably made some good strides in how I think about the game. I think I was too young and ignorant at that stage to want to listen. But if I think back now, I probably should have listened a little bit earlier as a cricketer. But in saying that, Wynberg was unbelievable. I still, if I get back to South Africa and there's cricket on, or if there's training on with the first team or one of the sides, I still go back and train and try help out as much as I can, to be fair. And if I can give back that way, it's great. I mean, it's a school that's done so much for me. I wouldn't be said as the greatest keto student at school, but I think they played a big role in shaping me, in part shaping me how I am today.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. I was watching one of your interviews that you did with 1709 Cricket guys, right? And you said when you started playing cricket, right, you weren't the best player. You were playing in a league that, was for kids that, were interested in playing cricket, but were not very good. So that was like your initial start of the game. So how did those improvements come about? Was it because of the good coaches you had, or just good support system around you? What was the main reason?
Honestly, I think it was more the good support system. I did have some very good coaches coming through, but I think the best sort of coaching I had was towards when I turned professional cricket, I guess, if I can say that. I think our first team coach, Mr. Lefson, was brilliant with us. He sort of helped us quite a lot and helped me quite a bit. And then that's more towards under 19 though, but under 14, I think it was more just a support system. I mean, I honestly don't think I was the best cricketer at the beginning. I think I could hold the bat a little bit and bowl a little bit, but that was sort of it. I think it clicked when I was probably 13, to be fair, 13 years old before something clicked. And when I say clicked, I wasn't a prodigy and, this guy's going to be the greatest. It was nothing like that. It was just something clicked and I could bat a bit better. I could bowl a bit better. It could have been that I just about growth spurt and I grew a little bit more. I'm not sure, to be honest, but something went nicely and I sort of ran with it. It's like I tell a few guys, and still to this day, when it was rugby season, because I played rugby at school also, I was sort of like, I'm definitely playing professional rugby. Rugby is the best sport in the world. And I don't like cricket. Cricket I'll play as a hobby. It keeps me fit. And the cricket season would come and I'd be like, no, I don't like rugby. I'll play cricket any day, every day. So I think it both winter and summer, it went between. I played a little bit of water polo also, but I mean, at Wynberg, I honestly just don't think I was fit enough, and I thought I was one of the fittest people. But when we jumped in the pool and played water polo, I just realized that you're not close to where you should be. But I mean, it was cricket, rugby, and cricket took the pathway for me, luckily, or chose me.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. So cricket was something that, came to you, and you played all the sport, and it just clicked at 13, man. And that's pretty awesome. And then you also went to tours out in Pakistan, right? If I'm not mistaken, at a young age during that time?
We did. Yes. So, like I said, I'll be honest, we had a tour to Pakistan that was sort of set at the beginning of the year, and we had to raise funds to go on the tour. As long as everyone's school marks were up to date. And that's how you would qualify. Sort of 3 days before the trip, our headmaster, Mr. Richardson, pulled my mom and my dad and said, look, he's not going with. Unfortunately, his marks is not up to standard. We don't think he'll pass the year if he does go on the tour. And sort of, I think I probably cried at that stage. They had a meeting about the tour itself. And I remember staying till about close to 9 p.m. at school. We had teacher, Mr. Lowe, for my metalwork project. I built a nice little table. And he said, Shadley, just stay as long as you want. Just finish your project and then you can go to your tour. So I had a teacher that actually said, stay. So I think it was for the next 3 days. I stayed till 9 p.m. to finish that project. Not sure how they trusted me with a welder and all the things that could have gone wrong, I think now. But he was absolutely brilliant. Managed to finish the project the day before we flew. And the headmaster said, it's fine. You're allowed to go now. So, but that's also part me being lazy, leaving it till the last minute. I think I could have finished the project in honestly the first 3 weeks. I was just the laziest person at the beginning of the year. But I managed to go to Pakistan, which was a great experience. I absolutely loved the culture, the people. We went there. I think everyone went there very skeptical, but we said we came back and we felt like we were almost ambassadors. It was such a nice place. The people were amazing. The food was amazing. I think everyone treated us so well. So I mean, everything from Pakistan I loved. They were honestly so amazing to us. The facilities we played in, the talent we saw there was different, but it was unbelievable. I'll go back any day.
That's awesome. And where did you guys play a lot in Lahore, Karachi, or Islamabad?
So we were based in Lahore. They were kind enough. I think Bob Warm was still the coach at that stage. They were kind enough to put us up at their national academy setup. So I mean, we stayed literally at the main training spot. We lived opposite the main stadium in Lahore. So all of that was brilliant. They treated us like absolute champions. It felt like it was professional cricket if I look back now. Food was taken care of, breakfast, lunches, dinners. We were fortunate enough that I think at that stage, Mohammed Asif, Salman Batu, Shah Malik was training, and they would allow us to train with him, which was unbelievable, which was great for us. I think that the whole experience was just being at their national setup with regards to law was great, and the internationals, those current international players were very good to us and friendly, and sort of made us feel very welcome.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Such a great story, man. I love hearing about Pakistan's visit, because I'm from obviously Karachi, born there. moved here as a 10-year-old boy, and I'll go back from time to time back home, and it's a different setup, right? Different mindset, different culture, and
Mm.
cricket's in the blood, man, of people. So if you're gonna come out
It
there,
is. It is.
people are gonna adore you, man. If any cricketer.
I remember, to be fair, like we'd be on the bus trips and we'd drive and it'd be like every street people's playing cricket. Every
Yeah.
single street except the main roads. It would
Yep.
be the most amazing thing for me because I mean we grew up playing street cricket in South Africa, myself and a few of friends playing in the street. So for me it was nice to see, but we've never seen that much people playing cricket in our lives. It was unbelievable. It was brilliant.
How different was that from like the South African local kind of cricket setup to you seeing in the street cricket where kids actually learn to play in Pakistan? Their first taste of cricket would be playing in those small, tight streets and with the tape ball and, the thin cricket bats.
For me personally, it was exactly the same. Learned the basis of cricket, how to bowl, how to bat in the street outside my own house. Similar rules. I don't know if it was the same rules, but directly into someone's properties out. You get the first ball grace, so you can't get out on the first ball. 1-on-1 bounce sort of rules. So those sort of things was part of the cricket. So I'm not sure if the rules were the same, but I think looking at the games, it was exactly the same in South Africa with regards to from the outside. Play in the streets till the lights come out or till your parents literally shouting at you to get back in.
That's awesome. Cool, man. That's the so let's get into a little bit about your time with the Eagles as well. I think in 2009, Shadley, you were part of the Champions League, I believe, with the Eagles in South Africa, right?
Yes, that's correct. Eagles, they now changed the name to the Free State Knights, or it was at the time I was playing the VKB Knights, but it was the Eagles at first. I sort of came from a national academy setup and did half decently. Got a luckier contract at the Knights, and then I had a decent one-day campaign T20 campaign when it was just starting sort of out in South Africa. Just been a few years that they've been playing. I had a good outing with the bat and the ball, and was lucky enough to be part of I think it was 16 at the time, 16 or 18 guys to go to India. Was fortunate enough to play against two. I think it was 2 games I played. Sat out for 2, which was perfectly fine. One was against Sussex Sharks, I think it was, and New South Wales Blues. So I mean, thoroughly enjoyed that experience. Absolutely loved it. At that time, the ATL Champions League was arguably one of the bigger competitions at that stage. When I say it was the best of the 2 best teams of each country, which I thought was a great thing. And they competed, and we competed against some of the best players in the world. I remember the bowling attack for, I think it was New South Wales, was Quetley, Dougie Bollinger, Moses Enriquez, Simon Katic still played. So I mean, it was against good cricketers, guys. We used to watch on TV, sort of, and stood next to him. David Warner was still there. We used to stand out in the dugout, and he was like, "Wow, that's like I was still young," and I was like, "That's Brett Lee." I'm like, do you know who that is, guys? And they were like, "Yeah." So it was one of those, but absolutely amazing experience. The Australians always play a hard game on the field, but great off the field. Great off the field.
Adam, you got something to say there?
Love to hear that. Well, that's my team. So the Blues, that's my state. That's my state. So I grew up. That's my era. That's my area of cricket. That's the guys I grew up watching playing. And I played. I didn't play in the Sydney League. I didn't obviously get all the way up to there, but no, they're the guys you'd watch and see. And that's my state right there. The Blues. I got the Blues flag up there if you can see it. That's the rugby team, the Blues rugby team. Yeah. So, love that. Love hearing that. That's awesome. And so, how'd you go in that tournament? You guys won that tournament? You guys knocked off the Blues?
No, we got through to the second round. I think we said it like this. We played against Trinidad. I think it was a game we had to win. And I was honestly, because of that, I think the guys we played a big part in Pollard's career. Let's put it that way. I think he smashed us everywhere. I think he got like 80 or 30 odd balls. And like we sat in the change room and no one sort of knew the players. I think the technology was there, the videos and those things, but not as in depth as it is today. And so we never knew much. I think he must have got, probably it felt like 110 balls, to be fair. And he hit the flattest and the hardest sixes everywhere. And then, I mean, since that knock itself, he's just made an amazing career out of a base that we gave him. If I can say it like that. But it was good. I think they played a great game of cricket. We realized how hard people can hit the ball when they get going, and taught us a good lesson. And we got knocked out in the second round. Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Oh man, Karen Pollard, if he's in the chat, I want to hear some.
If he's in the chat.
From Karen Pollard. I know a lot
please.
of West Indian fans follow me on YouTube, so if any YouTube fans are following me, they got something to say here, man. For Shadley, that'd be sweet. Drop them in the comments, guys. Oh man, that's sweet, man. That's sweet. So, so your professional cricket journey, started obviously in South Africa, and then your big move to USA, Shadley. Life and career transition to the United States. When did that kind of come about, or how did that kind of play out for you?
So it worked out nicely in the end, but it played out a little bit probably different to everyone else. I had a friend and agent at the time, and still friend and agent, to be fair, Lee Collar, and he sort of messaged me because we've spoken about the cricket industry in America and how's it going and do they play cricket. Obviously ignorant to the fact that cricket was so big already. And he reached out to you, do you know anyone in USA? And luckily enough, Nosh sort of trained at for about, I think it was 3 months he came down, or 6 weeks, 6 weeks to 6 to 12 he was down, and he was training with the Knights, and he was bowling and having net sessions. And I reached out to him on WhatsApp actually and asked, how's cricket in USA? And is it happening quite nicely? I think I might want to make a move for a change, just to try something different. Yes. And he put me in touch with the former CEO, old CEO, I think it was Ian Higgins, and sort of we had the conversation from there. And it happened fairly quickly. I think the first time I wanted to move and transition to USA was in 2019. The conversation happened. If I'm not 2018 possibly, when 2019 when sort of COVID started coming around. But it was a move that I committed to fully as soon as the outset. I first came for 6 months, to be fair, to try to see the structures, train a little bit, see where I can help, if it's needed. And sort of, I was lucky enough, I was still in contract in South Africa. I got offered another 2-year contract, and I sort of sat down with my wife and said, I don't think I'm going to take the contract. I think I didn't say it in these words, but I think I'm just going to risk it all. And we try and make the move to America, and see if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then like our parents always said at that stage, just come back. That's okay. But take the leap. We didn't want to look back 5 years down the line and say, actually, maybe we wish we tried that, or maybe we should have tried that. So from that regard, I think the word's probably out there. We played a 4-day game in Wanderers. So that season, Othniel Baartman was the bowler that was really coming through for the Knights. He's played a few games for South Africa, and the conversation was that they want to play Othniel in the 4-day stuff, and I said, that's brilliant. Like he's probably going to play for South Africa because he was that good at that stage and he was bowling quickly. And when we had this conversation, I wasn't planning on playing 4-day cricket. I sort of the backup to Othniel if it was needed. So I made my visa appointment and everything, and like a week before the visa appointment, they called me up, and Othniel, unfortunately, I think Degroning had a groin strain and he's not able to play. And it's one of those things that it's fine, I'll play. And my visa appointment was on the exact date of the first day. And I rushed off 10 a.m., did my visa appointment, rushed to the game, bowled off decently, and so took, I think, 2 or 3 wickets in the first innings, or 4 wickets, which was quite nice. But from that, I took the leap, called the management. I think it was Alan Donald was the assistant coach, Alan Kruger was there, and the management. I called him and I said, guys, my last game will be in Durban. I'm finishing off with cricket in South Africa, first class cricket firstly, and then I'll help you guys out for the One Day Cup. And once that is done, then I'll be finishing off. And that's just literally how the conversation went.
Nice, man. Nice. So, after that, I'm sure did it work out pretty fast. I think Shadley's kind of loading. I'm not sure what happened on his side. But
he's loading.
Yeah, that was
he's loading.
Yeah,
he's loading.
He's loading. But that was some story, man, of the there you go. He dropped off. I think he's got some technical issues. He'll join back with us shortly. But thoughts on that story, Adam, because that transition, man, is not easy for a lot of players to coming from overseas and committing to that. So that must have been a tough transition for.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Shadley.
on a personal level, we've all, well, you're a little younger, but I made the change. Moving to America wasn't for cricket per se, but it was making the move to America. Because if you have the opportunity to move to America, you take that chance because more opportunities over here. So definitely a big leap, and it's been paying off. Getting into the Team USA team. We'll probably head into that in a little bit. How we got all the way to the Team USA team, but he said he's just going on a little trip. He's just going on a little trip back to South Africa for a little bit, changing servers, changing to the South African server.
And loading back. There he is.
There he is. Let's take a little trip.
Shadley rises again. There he is, man.
There he is.
Shadley, can you hear us?
I'm back. I think I'm back at least.
There you go. I can hear you.
I can
hear you, man.
It's a little bit laggy, but I can.
Oh, that's good. Good, man. So
I'm
we were just talking
where
about.
I ended with that, with the last thing you guys heard.
Well, it was about your transition and how you things the way they happened for you. So the transition's always obviously difficult. We're all immigrants here. I moved here as a 10-year-old. Adam moved here a little bit older. To not specifically for cricket, but it's a life-changing move from back home to South Africa to USA. So how was the adjusting to the environment here? In the States. I'm not sure if he can hear me. There he goes again, loading.
Another vacation.
Another vacation. He drops again. I think he's having some technical issues, guys. Shadley will shortly join us. So drop your questions in the comments for Shadley, guys. We, want to make sure we bring up your fan questions. We're going to have a small segment of fan questions, and we want to ask if you have any questions for him, let us know in the comments. And later down the line, we're going to have a bit of a fun rapid fire round with him as well, where, he'll go over a few things. He'll let you know the toughest batsman, that he's bowled to, toughest bowler he's faced. So you'll be seeing a lot of those things, come from Shadley shortly. There he is.
He's back.
I've actually just changed the server that I was on, so it should be better now. I'm hoping it should be better. Yes.
Looks a lot cleaner. Looks good. We got Brian. We got BRC in the chat. Brian, he says, "Hey, hello lads," and he says, "Hey to Shadow." What's going on? I don't know if you know Brian from BRC, the American umpire. He says, "G'day." He says hi. I say g'day.
Oh, hi Brian.
He's in the chat.
What a good human.
In the chat.
He's going to be probably umpiring in some of our matches in New York National League. So I think I follow him too. He's, a good dude. You got to support his umpiring efforts. He does, a lot of good things to, bring professional level umpiring here in USA cricket. So shout out to Brian. I think he recently went out to West Indies, took, 3-4 umpires out from here, from USA, to train them under their domestic setup. A lot of good things he's doing, Brian. Keep that up, brother, and we'll look to see you in New York National League this season, umpiring some club matches. But yeah, Shadley. So that transition, man, must have been quite tough compared to South Africa, or was it like a smooth transition when you moved here? Was it like a similar thing, or was it different?
I wish I could say it was smooth. Honestly, it was. I don't think people see the journey. They see the end result, I guess. To leave your support structure and sort of bring my wife with. We didn't have a daughter at the time, and sort of risk everything and say we were very comfortable. Don't get me wrong, you're very comfortable in South Africa. I got offered a 2-year contract. We we're renting a nice little place. So we were in a very good position to just carry on. She had great work back in South Africa. So we're setting our all sort of say lives up, if you could say that, or for the foreseeable next 5 years of our lives in South Africa. And to sort of just go, you know what, I need to change. It's a little bit too comfortable for me. I think my routine for the 6 or 7 months that I was in South Africa was wake up, gym from 7 to 9, train from 9:30 to 12:30 or 1, go back. I used to love gymming, and I still do love gymming. Go back to the gym at 5 p.m. to 6 or 7, and then go sleep. And that was basically my day for every day of my life, besides when the game days. And the next thing we do the same, and everything was just comfortable. It was working out great, and I feel I needed a change. To be fair, I feel I needed like something to change. I at that stage I had 1 or 2 contract offers, but I mean I was very comfortable in South Africa, and at that stage just like, you know what, I needed a different challenge in life. I didn't see at that stage. I think I was 31. At that stage, the gap for you to play sort of knuckles down, and because there's such a lot of structures and media plays a big influence. It's more of, oh no, they sort of influence the public and how people think that okay, now he'll retire in 2 years, he'll be 34, and then he'll be done, and those sort of things. And I felt I still have a lot in the tank, to be fair. I mean, I keep myself fit. I love gymming. I wouldn't say I love running, but I run. And so those sort of things sort of may help the decision, I guess. It didn't seem like there was any offers after cricket or any pathway for me after cricket. Although I've played, I think it was 12 or 13 years in the system, it didn't seem like there was a pathway for me afterwards. I think the Players Association back in South Africa would help transition to coaching levels and those things, which was the only way forward. But there wasn't a guarantee. Well, there was. So with not having a guarantee in South Africa and not having a guarantee in USA, it was easy to take the leap, but a difficult journey. I think when myself and my wife rocked up in USA, we literally just had 2 suitcases. That was it. There was no return flight. It was there. It was, you've got 2 suitcases. They can help you out as much as you can, but you need to find everything from scratch again. Like everyone knows, your credit history from South Africa, your things you have just doesn't count anymore. So we sold off all our furniture, committed to the move, and sort of for, I say, 6 or 7 months, we were totally out of our comfort zone. Totally out of our comfort zone. When I say there wasn't as much cricket, there wasn't as much training, there wasn't a structure, there wasn't a guarantee to play games on the weekend, there wasn't a guarantee to go to gym, there wasn't a team set up, there wasn't, so anything that's related with professional cricket, there was nothing there. Besides a good community that wanted to help you out as much as you can in USA, which I thought was unbelievable and helped the transition be a little bit easier. But when I say it was a leap, I think a few people know when you sort of sacrifice everything back in South Africa and risk of there's no chance going back because you've committed now. If you take the easy option and go back now, you're sort of in limbo in South Africa. So if I had to go back, there's no contract guarantee, there's no cricket guarantee. It's sort of starting from scratch. And I thought starting from scratch in USA and trying to achieve a dream or dreams that I've always wanted of playing international cricket is a possibility. And along those lines, I think I had a wife that supported me amazingly, and she was sort of like, let's do it. If it doesn't work out, we can come back. That conversation for the first sort of month or 2 months was a little bit different. It's like, no, we're going back. We've got nothing here. It's not working out. So the conversation sort of had a roller coaster, but I mean, we committed and we prayed a lot, and fortunately we were able to commit and make it happen as well as we could and can, and what we are doing for now is.
That's awesome.
Shadley, where did you move to when you first came here?
Seattle. So there was no outdoor training. There was not a lot of, I think we had 2 artificial wickets at the stage. It rained 7 months of the season. In the middle of the winter, it rains half the time in the season in US in Seattle, so you don't play as much, you don't train as much. You possibly get to go to gym, but I mean, when the sun rises at 7:30 in the morning in winter, it's tough to go to gym. I'm not gonna lie. The structure of and the discipline of you have to be there is not there anymore. It's just like you have to be there, but it's on you now. It's not you're held accountable by a contract or you held accountable by your teammates. It's like no, you have to make it work now. So all the difficult things are part of it. But I think if you ask me if I do it any differently, no. Maybe win the lottery, but you know what I mean? But I mean the struggle and everything, no, I wouldn't do it any different at all.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. A thing with pain, and with obviously the leap of faith, with risk comes great rewards as well. And I think I have a strong. I don't know if your daughter was born here or not, and I don't know how your success kind of attaches to your daughter, because I look at it myself. I'm I have a 10-month-old. Adam has a 4-year-old. You have a daughter, right? So a lot of the success I've seen in my life came in my life after my daughter was born, and I look at it as a God's blessing, right? You call it a cultural thing or something like that. So do you feel that when your daughter came into your life, things kind of started happening for you?
It did. It's a strange one. I think it's a weird sort of circle. I think I got a little bit luckier when she was around, but I think when she's around, I think it also life becomes a little bit more clear. Cricket's not be all and end all anymore. It never sort of was towards the older you get. But I mean, I have such a bad day at the game, for example. Didn't have a great one today, but I get home and she's on the video call and it just makes sense. Like life just genuinely makes sense, and you don't get caught up in the emotions so much of cricket. You still have the emotions of cricket. I mean, I'm still very competitive at heart, and I hate having bad games, at losing and the regular stuff. But I think it just gives you a better perspective on life. Yes, I think it's been like that since she's been born. She's now 14 months. But I think it's been the biggest life change that I've ever gone through.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think I'm going through the same thing, and it just feels like, man, it's God-given thing, and things usually kind of work out when it happens. So Adam, what are your thoughts on that, man? I know you have a daughter too, and how does that relate to you with,
she's getting big. She's actually 6 now. She's actually just turned 6. She's turned 6. She can play some cricket. I just posted a video of us. She can handle the bat pretty well. She's great. No, it's fantastic. And like I said, I took the same journey, Shadley. I moved over to America. I left Australia behind, moved to America to live the dream. And
yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been I'm still living the dream. This is fabulous. I'm still living the dream over here. I love it over here. It's fabulous. So yeah, and like we're all girl dads. And I think, I mean, being a girl dad is just the best. I mean, having a little one is awesome. So just from what you said, do you travel your way from home now when you're playing cricket, or are you?
I do.
Okay.
I love traveling with the family, but the certain tournaments we play, it's expensive to fly from Seattle, so we sort of manage the times you're away. I know for Major League, the family will travel throughout the whole of Major League. I think it just makes my life a little bit easier. I don't like leaving the family behind. It gets harder to leave the family behind than the daughter and the wife behind, especially when they're alone back in Seattle. I mean, we've got an amazing community there, so I sort of leave with a heavy heart, but also knowing that they're okay. Like they've got a great community, and we've got a good support system back there. It's the travel. We try to travel together. Some trips it's tougher than you get, but I mean it's part and parcel. It's the job we chose. It's just the nature of the beast. It's not gonna, unfortunately, it won't last forever. The traveling and the cricket and those sort of things. And I think most cricketers, when they get to a certain ages, understand that. So it's not. We know it's temporary. It's not forever. And it's something that unfortunately comes with it. But we've managed to do it.
Awesome,
yeah, that's awesome.
There's a comment here from Salman Taj. Shadow is a great inspiration for all upcoming players in Seattle and across USA. He's one of the kindest, and we are lucky to have him in Seattle cricket community. So shout out to your Seattle community, Shad.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I love you out there,
Really
man. I love you out there, and
I
you know,
love them
I'm
also.
sure Adam's a little pissed off that you don't play for Seattle Orcas, you know.
Just gonna
You're
say,
definitely
so
Knight Rider.
playing for the Knight Riders. I don't know how you made that connection over there, but it's a little different. The major leagues, it's not where you live. It's how you get traded and who buys you where, and that's how America works. America works very much like the college system. Kids go off to college, they move from their hometowns. Whereas when you played the Blues, like all those guys come from New South Wales. They're all Sydney siders. In Australia, you play for your state. It's very specific. Where as you move to America, everyone plays everywhere. It's whatever. It's all good. It's how Americans roll.
We're trying to build that structure, man. One piece at a time, one brick at a time here. But there's a question for Shadley in the comments. Shad, what do you think cricket in the U.S. is lacking?
I think it's a tough one, but I think the basic answer is as much structure as I think every professional cricketer would like. Is it getting there? Yes, 100%. Is people, is owners, is USA, is Major League taking the right strides to do that? Yes, they are. We all know it can't be. I wish we could just click our finger and we have 7 stadiums and everything's running beautifully, and we've got a first-class system and we've got a massive list A system, not just T20 list A, but I mean a full system like that. It'll take time, but I think the immediate answer to that would be probably the structures with regards to enough stadiums, enough facilities to practice and play cricket. I think there's such a passion for the game in USA that there is every weekend, if you went to a field and there's a artificial or concrete cricket, there's cricket happening every single weekend. I mean, it's that much of a commitment. I think it's a growing sport. So I've always believed that you have to leave the game in a better spot than what you receive it. And I think being part of that journey where people are starting to want to build structures, it's a big investment. There's people coming on board that are very, very keen on the USA system, building stadiums, putting up change rooms, helping out, hosting tournaments, hosting teams, getting people over, trying bilateral series. All of those things are vitally important for cricket in USA. But coming back to the question, I think the lacking part would probably be the stadiums and the structures at the moment. But is there pathways and are they doing it? They are. So that's the great thing. I think if you ask that question in 5 or 10 years' time, it'll be a completely different answer. I think it would be an answer of, in 5 years' time, oh no, we're lacking possibly a bowler that bowls 150 kilometers an hour, for example. So that would be the question, the answer to that in 5 or 10 years' time. But right now, it would probably the stadiums and the structures isn't as much as we want. But is it getting there? Yes, it is. Will it take some time? Of course it will. But will the people in the cricketing system make sure that is done right and it's looked after for the people coming through? I believe they will, which is the nice part. And I believe that they should. And if we can all help with the pathway to join and build cricket throughout the whole of USA and help it become eventually one of the bigger cricketing nations that it possibly can and has the potential to be, it will be amazing.
I think the potential is great. There. Yeah, but it's a great potential, and we see, the investments also coming in. We're, seeing New Zealand cricket now getting involved with Major League Cricket with the 6th team or the 7th team. Then, I think they're saying by 2027 it'll be an 8-team tournament, either in Atlanta and then in Toronto. They're thinking about having teams, and the infrastructure is going to start to, go up with fields and such. And still a lot of it so far has been the private investments that have come in from, cricket enthusiasts living here, businessmen, and, that wanted to grow the game here. But now obviously we're getting a bit more commercialized, with these partnerships that MLC is doing. And I think it's a great way for us to grow. You leverage the cricket community, you go out, you find, cricket boards that can bring more money into the system. Because I think that's what we need in the infrastructure on the grassroots, basic grassroots level, to be able to produce those 150 click, bowlers in the future. And then I think we're a bit away from that, but moving definitely in the right direction. We got some more comments coming in here. He's saying you aren't currently part of the US's T20 national setup. Was it kind of heartbreaking after your performances in the Netherlands? And did the board give you any explanations?
Good question. Very good
Yeah.
question. I wouldn't say heartbroken. I think I've had a few heartbreaks in my life with regards to outside cricket. Am I wouldn't say disappointed. No. Have I had the conversation with the board and the future of T20? Yes, definitely. I think I like to keep an open communication with the selectors or the coach or the captain. I do still want to play T20 cricket for USA. The more I can perform, and I mean the nice thing about cricket, the ball's always in your court. If I can put up the numbers, if I can stay fit, if I can perform as well as I know I can, then at least I can knock on the door. Would I like to be in the setup? Of course, 100%. I think it's a game that's grown so amazingly, and I think it's put USA cricket on the map, the T20 format. And now with the 50 overs going well, definitely, I think I've got a lot of value to add. So yes, I've had the conversation. It was a nice, good conversation. It's given me a conversation to go what I need to do, and if I can do those things, then there's a chance. There's no guarantee. It's cricket at the end of the day, and if I do as well as I can, and say, look, here's my numbers. I've done exactly this. It gives me a chance of being selected. It doesn't give me a guarantee, but it gives me things to say. Okay, I've done my best. I've given it a run. They need to go in a different direction, and that's completely fine. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, like we said earlier, and that's part and parcel. Of course, I'd love to be in the T20 setup. I mean, it's the quickest format. It's quick. It's lovely. It's as intense as it can get. You're diving around, you're running around, and I mean, you get to play against some of the best in the world with regards to T20. Sort of gives you a little bit more access to test playing nations. I can say that, or non-associate nations and associate nations. So I'd love to be part of the setup. Will I work as hard as I can to get there? Of course I will. Give myself the best chance, yes. And if it happens to happen, I'd love to be there and know that I've earned it, and it hasn't just been given it to me.
Absolutely, man. Wow. So there's your response there, Summer Barthwell, for his question. We got a comment from Vandana Thomas Taj. We love Shadow. He instills life-changing values in our players while inculcating in them the love for the game. Heart, heart, heart. Go Shadow. Seattle loves you. Great comment there by Vandana.
Thank you, Vandu.
Yeah. So you got your Seattle community that loves you, man, and amazing answer there. We got another question here. What do you think you will be doing after cricket, Shadley? Good question.
Oh, I'm hoping to get that 6 winning numbers in the lottery, to be dead honest. I'm hoping for that. I really am. But I feel I've got so much out of the game. I've always been someone that's wanted to start their own business and sort of being an entrepreneur or try something and risk something. I love that idea and I love thinking of those things.
Yeah.
I will still be involved in cricket. I think it's not necessarily my duty, but I feel that cricket's given me so much. I've got to see the world. I've met my wife. I've traveled the world. I've made some amazing friends. I've made some amazing contacts, and for me to give back to cricket and help others do that would be probably my biggest thing to do after cricket. And I also want to make sure that the pipeline and the structures that the guys that will be knocking on the ball later on in life or in a few years' time, that they are in the right mindset, in the right physical condition, in right mental state to take over the reins from the players that are playing now, because there's some seriously talented players in USA. Like when I say it's all across USA. When you look at under 19s, under 15s, under 13s, kids that are coming through, there's a lot of talent, and I'd like to make sure that I can give back as much as I can, so the gap doesn't become too far of a jump from minor league, major league to international cricket. The gap becomes a lot smaller, and where it can be like, oh, is this the jump? Like I've been doing this for 5 years, so don't worry, I'm here, I've got it. So that's what I'd love to do after cricket, to give back, but also like to win the lottery at the same time. But I think I'd like to explore business, something to like a startup or things like that. I'd like to do. I think I've always read books according to those lines, and it's always interested me. And hopefully that can be part and parcel of my life going forward. But yeah, that's at the moment my immediate future. Just those 6 numbers though.
I think the best business, a good business to start is indoor cricket facilities. I think, especially in the northern North America, like you're in Seattle, we're in New England. There's 4 or 5 months of the year we can't play cricket outside because of the facilities. And when we're restricted up here in the New York and Connecticut region with limited access to indoor facilities because baseball kind of takes the majority of that space. So I think that's like a big thing moving forward with like thinking what's lacking here in the USA. It's a lot of facilities and access to like nets, especially over wintertime when you can't go outside.
Yeah.
You don't get that in South Africa. You don't get that in Australia.
I think we're fairly blessed in Seattle because there's so much rain. There's quite a few indoor academies actually specific for cricket, which is brilliant.
Oh wow!
I think there's 4 or 5 which is popping around, and I mean, half the time they're full, which is brilliant. And I love coaching at our academy also, so which is part and parcel, which is great. And I mean, it's specific for cricket. So with the rainy season, I think that we got the double-edged sword where we don't get out as much, but we do get to practice as a little bit more than everyone else because we're indoors. Yeah. But I mean, they're thinking along those lines. A lot of people are thinking along those lines, which will just grow the community very nicely and the cricket community itself very nicely in the USA.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I hope Daryl gets his answer there. He says, asking because I'm planning my retirement. So he needed ideas.
Daryl, send me a message. Send me a private message. We can chat definitely. Maybe we can start something together.
Daryl, yeah, build an indoor facility.
All the best for future. Yeah, and he's in New York, Kingsman 11 captain, one of my good friends. And yeah, there you go. It's a good idea for indoor fields there, man. But I think it has to go with the supply and demand, right? That's how business essentially works. It's a basic idea where we provide the supply as the demand goes up. So as the game grows, as the demand for it grows here in our parts of the world, in the States, I think we start to see more of it pop up. And, since we're already along these lines, Shadley, for example, can easily transition into, coaching setup, his own academy of sorts, or, there's a lot of ways I think after cricket here with the growth that, we're envisioning. It's a good way to, I think, for us to go about it, thinking an entrepreneurial mind. And as the game grows here, everything else will definitely grow. So some good questions there from the fans. Let's talk a little bit about MLC and LA Knight Riders. You were drafted into the Knight Riders, 2023. And how has your experience been so far? Last couple of years, been with LA Knight Riders. Have you gotten to meet Shah Rukh Khan yet? This is the question I wanted to ask.
Not yet. I'm hoping we have a really good major league and we win it this year. And Shah Rukh Khan comes down for the final, which will be unbelievable. That's the dream, I guess. I have not met him yet, but I mean the setup's been amazing. The guys that come in. I've been fortunate enough to play, especially with the locals, quite a bit, and a few of the pros that I've played with back in South Africa when they came as overseas pros. So transitioning wise into the setup itself was great. The manager's been great, Wayne. The setup itself has been brilliant. It's run as professional as you can. I think we spoiled as cricketers to be honest. We really are spoiled. Yeah. I mean, we get to our hotels and we've got our bags there with our kits and our gloves and our everything you can think of and dream of as a kid. You get there and it's there and you sort of spoiled a little bit, which is great. I think cricketers deserve that. And LA Knight Riders has been amazing to me. They've had good communication. They've chatted to us quite nice, and I mean, especially leading up to MLC now and things starting. They've been absolutely brilliant. This, I mean, I can't fault them in any way, in any way.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. You got any questions from MLC, Adam, for Shadley?
Yeah, how excited are you to play in the Oakland Coliseum?
I think that's probably going to be one of the biggest exciting things to happen for cricket in the USA. I think a lot of the Oakland Coliseum comes from Moneyball, so I've known it from them.
Yep.
And I mean, the
Yeah.
movie itself was amazing. So to be able to say you're transitioning as part of history from Moneyball to just becoming a cricket stadium, it'll be great to just be a part of that journey. Whether I get a game or not, if I perform well enough, hopefully I can. But I mean, to be able to say you've played in one of the great stadiums in America, one of the greatest movies or better movies has been shot in that stadium, and I think it's incredible. I'm so excited to get that going, and I know it'll have a big fan base. I think they'll come out in numbers, which will be great. Just imagine you get a 20,000 fan base if it goes well. It'll be one of the most incredible things for cricket in USA itself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big pulls, like I keep saying about America, is like you don't get that really star-studded opportunity really in any other country. If you come to America, you get these chances to be in America where something happens, like you're in Moneyball, all of a sudden you're like, you watch the movie, like, I was right there, and I get to play in the stadium. And I have a prediction. I think we're going to see some incredibly high scores at that stadium, because doing some measurements on the boundary, it's probably going to be one of the smallest grounds you're going to play on. So I'm hoping that we get like a close to 300 game there. That's good. I think that's crazy.
So, to be fair.
I think we can.
Yeah. Say this as a bowler, but I mean, it's great. I think especially for the American viewers, for them to see a different skill of a ball bouncing and then getting it out the stadium will be great. I don't think, unfortunately, the bowlers will probably have to just take it on the chin. But I mean, for spectator sport and for entertainment wise, I think it'll bring great value. Unfortunately for the bowler, it's just part and parcel. But even if the boundary is small, I think it will attract people to come to the stadium more, which is what you want in the end. And I think if you can draw crowds with that, and if someone bowls well, they'll still do the job for the team. So I don't necessarily think you're ever out of it as a bowler. But even if the boundary is smaller and you get to the close to 280s, the close to 300, possibly in a list A 300 game, it'll be amazing. I mean, history is there to be rewritten, and I think the Coliseum, if it goes well, it can be.
Yeah. And I think Shadley scores his first 100, chasing that 300 down. Coming in at number 6, 7, smacking 6 sixes, 7 sixes, winning the game.
I'll be running around.
I can totally envision that at the Oakland Coliseum, man, happening. But yeah, as a bowler, man. So yeah, talk about that a little bit, Shadley, because obviously leagues around the world, T20 leagues, it's all for entertainment. It's to get batsmen hitting a lot of sixes, a lot of boundaries. How do bowlers adjust to that? Obviously, the conditions are such where the ball comes onto the bat so nicely, where anything is a boundary, really. A little error from a bowler's end. So what adjustments do you make? Looking at the surfaces.
I think the mental adjustment's the biggest thing, is understanding that you have a job to do, but also knowing that if it doesn't happen your way and you miss your mark by 2 or 3 inches, unfortunately you go for 6. That's just the reality of T20 cricket when you're playing against some of the best batters in the world. I think that's part of it. I think the homework to be done in the preparation on each individual batter. I think the technology and streaming and research to be done on batters plays a vital role now. I think if you, as a bowler, probably study a little bit more and know your matchups of what deliveries to bowl to what batters, I think I wouldn't say you're a step ahead, but it gives you a little bit of a platform to do your skills, your basics, the best you can. And if you manage to execute as well as you can and dominate that sort of the length or the area you have to do, you could come out on top as a bowler, and that's all you ever want. I think you'll see batters getting T20 man of the matches mostly, but I mean, the odd rare occasion when things happen to go your way as a bowler, it's a good thing, and you should capitalize on that. I also think that a lot of batters will also be caught on the boundary in the Coliseum, because they might tend to think they can hit it easily over the boundary, and sort of the swing pattern of the batter becomes different. They toe hit the ball and they get caught. So I think all of those will play its part. But as a bowler, I think the preparation and the homework part to the team you're playing becomes a lot more important to you. But at the same time, knowing what you can do, but also trying to execute your process and not worry about what's going to happen on the other end. I mean, you could bowl the perfect Yorker, exactly you want to bowl, and a batter could reverse scoop you for 6. It's just part of it.
Yeah.
But you need to understand that's a possibility. If you trust your plan and you're able to execute your plan, I think that's the best way you can go about it. And the battle of the skills, the greatest battle, and see how good you can be against some of the best in the world is nice.
Yeah. So I mean, having like a good data analyst in a setup, does that make a huge difference for you guys when you guys are obviously doing your homework and figuring out the matchups and actually doing the pregame planning and so like having a good data guy, does that help a lot? With adjustments.
It does definitely. I think it gives you different thoughts, and different videos, different approach. I think sometimes we, like as cricketers ourselves, we miss out on a certain length or a certain ball to this batter, and knowing, okay, that could be an option because we've never thought of that. So those sort of things definitely come about. They are so intelligent, the analysts, and so they're probably the guys that focus the most in any T20 game because it's literally every ball that they're watching, every video they're recording, every wicket. So those things it does play its part. I think it's become more like that and trusting the data analysts as much as you can because the bats have just be upskilled themselves so tremendously. So it plays a massive part. At the same time, it can also, if it's not spoken about the right way in certain setups, it can make players nervous, like a little bit of younger guys. If you, for example, say, oh yes, Quinny de Cox, he likes it there and he does this and does that, and you got a young bowler going, oh no, we am I going to bowl like I don't know what. So if you help the younger guys understand the plan and how we talk about it and what we do, and this should probably be your plan to him. If you get that understanding going easily and you help the guys to relax, I think the analysts play a big part, along with the coaching staff and management staff to help handle players well, to make sure that they prepared the best they can for the game that's coming up.
Wow, that's awesome, man. And somebody got a question in the comments. There's Samarth again. He's saying, hey, Shadley, what was your reaction when the coach asked you to bat one down against Scotland? Was that matchup related, Shadley, or was it
That was matchup?
taking a
I think
shot? Yeah.
That stage I was batting fairly nicely. My first reaction was I finally got a chance to score 100 here, for the country I play. Unfortunately, it didn't go my way. I think I've always wanted to bat up the order. I mean, if they're going to ask me to do it again, I'll do it again. 100%, I'll put my hand up again. I think it's the best time to bat in the power play, in the top 4 or 5 batters in USA specifically. I just unfortunately got out LBW. My reaction was, please ask me again. To be dead honest, I always believe that there's opportunities that come knocking, and unfortunately it wasn't my day at that day. But at the same time, if it was my day, I get a 120 not out to possibly win the game against Scotland, and sort of things take a different turn for your career, to how you believe, how you play. Those sort of things all take a spot. So my reaction was great. Let me pad up right away. I want to bat. I want to get 100. That was the thought, at least. Just missed a ball that swung straight. They got out LBW.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens, man, and sometimes you smack him for a 6, right? Like that last ball 6 against Nepal. That was a great finish. You were on that crease. So what was that feeling like, man, finishing off the match there against Nepal in Grand Fairview?
I think it was nice. I think that somehow every cricketer wants to win games for the team. And I think if cricketers find ways to win games for the team, not necessarily that I won the game, but I played a part in winning the game for the team, I think that's the biggest reward. So that situation, to be able to hit the 6 when we required, it was nice. I think at that stage I was training hard. I was working on a lot of power hitting things, and the situation allowed me to bat well. I think Harmeet played a good knock before me. Jesse came in and I think he 2 or 3 sixes to change the momentum of the game, and those sorts of things that goes unnoticed, which should go noticed, or to change the momentum. And I was just the fortunate one at the end of the game to score the winning runs and probably got a little bit of recognition. But there's the little things that we don't see. The catches that were taken, the second ball 6 that Jesse hits that changes the length. The next over hits another 6, and so those little things that happened. I think I was the fortunate one to get the winning runs, but everyone played their part within that game to allow one of the teammates to get a little bit of recognition.
Yeah. Total team effort, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we're about that hour-long mark. Before we end off, I want to do a quick rapid-fire round with Shadley here. I have 10 questions up here. Adam, if you have any questions you want to bring up during this rapid-fire round, man, feel free as well. But I'm gonna get to these questions. It's 10 questions. So whatever first comes to your mind, Shadley, you can give a response to, man. So we're gonna start this rapid-fire round.
Perfect.
3, 2, 1, let's go. Toughest batter you've ever bowled to?
Kevin Peterson.
Ooh, one teammate you'd never give the aux cord to?
Oh, there's a few, to be fair. I'm gonna say Nosh.
Ooh. There you go. LA traffic or Cape Town rain? What's worse?
LA traffic. Hands down, LA traffic.
I hate LA traffic. If you weren't a cricketer, what would you be doing?
Professional BMXer. I love freestyle BMXing. And I used to love MMA, so along those lines, but I think I'd lead to professional BMXer.
Ooh, that's cool. Fast bowling or middle order hitting? What's more satisfying?
At this age, middle order hitting.
Love it. MLC final at Grand Prairie or T20 World Cup at Eden Gardens?
Oh. Is okay a pass?
True.
I'm gonna say a World Cup final at Eden Gardens.
Yeah, I think anybody would. One bowler you'd pay to watch live, retired or active?
Dale Steyn again.
Oof, what a player, man.
Easily
He's my
Dale Steyn.
favorite. I think he's the best bowler of our generation. Favorite
And,
wicket celebration: scream, fist pump, or walk off like you've done it before?
Oh, walk off like you've done it before. Just like gives you like the mic drop.
I've seen those celebrations, man. Most underrated cricketer in the world right now?
Right now. Oh, I don't actually know. I haven't thought of that. That's a very good question.
You already know my answer.
Oh, what's yours, Adam?
My answer is Harmeet Singh. Harmeet Singh has an economy of 5.5 in T20s for his bowling average, which I think is insane for an international player playing T20s around the world spinning.
I think internationally he's underrated, but I think being teammates with him is very highly rated. So so that's the good one actually. I think one of the younger guys, Teja Mukamala. I think he's highly rated because I think he's honestly one of the young guns coming through. I sort of did a scenario. Sorry to interrupt now, but a scenario with who's the next world best batters. I think it was like the young guns coming through, and you got Vaibhav from IPL. I think Sateja from USA, and a few others that will come knocking on the door in USA. And so sort of those questions was one of the ones that we chatted about today.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And the last one I have up here, which USA will beat which full member team in the next T20 World Cup? We already beat Pakistan, so who are we predicting we take down? Which full member nation next?
I think to beat India will be unbelievable. I think that's probably every cricketer's dream. It will be very difficult, yes, but it's a possibility. It's T20. Anything can happen. But I think having qualified for this, being in the Super 8, I think every full member won't treat us the same as they did the very first time. I think it'll be a lot more research done into the cricketers in USA, and that will be the challenge, I think.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, you got a chance against everyone. Chance against everyone. It's T20 cricket. I mean, we were so close against South Africa. That was one of my favorite things. I live commentated that game. That was so good. Andre and Hamid at the end scoring some big sixes there at the end. That was fantastic. We were close against India. I mean, I like to say that like the level between where America is and where all the big nations are, there isn't that big of a gap because it's 2020 cricket. Like anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anyone can go get on a roll, hit some runs. Anyone can get some wickets. It's
definitely.
yeah. I have one question to
cricket,
finish though. I have
you
one
mean.
question for Shadley. What is your cricket superstition? Do you have a cricket superstition like when you're getting ready to bat or ready to bowl? What's your superstition?
I do. I used to have quite a bit. Routine-wise, I always have to put my left pad on first. But one of my superstitions that I'm trying to get rid of, because it's actually just starting to irritate me a little bit now, is when I'm batting, I ask for middle guard. And if I don't get it the first time, I'm sort of like, oh, no, man, not today. And so it's one of those, like, if I get middle guard straight up, it's like, oh, I'm going to get 12 sixes, 12 ball 50 here. If I don't, then it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight for my runs there. So that's a superstition I really need to get rid of, because I mean it's not even half an inch that I miss it by. And I'm like, oh no, not today. So I depend on the batters in front of me to bat on middle, so I can get it right the first time.
There you go. I like that.
Wow, man. Wow. So that's so funny. So I want to finish off with some advice for American young cricketers, your vision for USA cricket, and what do you hope your legacy will be when you're retired and hang up the boots? So you can add all those in that one question.
I think for young cricketers is to trust what they're doing, trust that the guys ahead of them will leave a pathway for them, and not sort of doubt that path. I know times can look dark when things aren't possibly going your way. But I think trust the guys that are ahead of you. I think the conversations that the guys are having in the USA setup, in the Major League setup, is to help USA cricket itself build the right pathway and help the future of the future generations that are playing cricket, and to people that the kids that are American born that a lot of international cricketers don't see, that there is time. The time will come. Just keep working hard. Make sure you don't get caught out on fitness. Should never be an issue. Make sure you're always working hard, doing the right things, and sort of just ticking the right boxes to give yourself the best chance to play any sort of cricket. There's minor league, major league, or international cricket. I think there's a big talent pool coming through. So that's what I do. Work harder. Don't let it be a question of, oh, but he just likes to bat, or because I mean a lot of kids just want to come to the nets and bat. They don't want to field. They don't want to bowl. So make sure you do at the minimum 2 facets of the game. That's the first thing. And whether you're a batter, you have to be a gun fielder. Whether you're a bowler, you either have to be able to bat and be a gun fielder, an athlete at least. So those are the things I would say for young guys coming through. My legacy for cricket when I'm done, it would probably to be that he left it in a better place than he got it. That would be the biggest goal. It was a transition that guys came into and they can be like, oh, the structure is actually nice. This environment's great. So that would be my biggest legacy to leave with cricket is.
Perfect, man. What a great answer. And we got one of your fans asking this last question. What's your diet like on a game day?
So lately, I'm actually on a diet now, so I'm actually really strict. So I'll make sure I eat my nutritional values that I need to do before a game. So it's whether it's 100 grams of carbs or whatever, 40, 50 grams of protein, and then a little bit of fats. I think that's my pre-game or my game day diet. Afterwards, I try to get my carbo load in with my protein. If I had to have a plate of food, it would be a lot of protein, a lot of carbs, and some greens, or a lot of greens would be my diet. But I'm very strict now with regards to, especially with the season coming up. I'm very strict with what I eat, how I eat, not necessarily when I eat. But pre-game, I'd eat well. I'm very dependent on my coffee in the morning. So if I have a good coffee, then it sets my day up quite nicely. After game, make sure I eat my macronutrients after the game, whether it's a protein shake to get in as soon as I can. And then just have a good dinner to fuel me for the next morning with a good breakfast, and that's sort of what I do. But I'm very meticulous with what I eat, how much protein I eat, am I meeting my calories. So lately I've been, last 2 or 3 months, or say 2 months, I've been fairly strict with it. If you ask me this in the winter, it would be a donut and a coffee. It would be strict. But when it's sort of 3 months out of a big season ahead, I start actually really focusing on my eating and my diet is.
Yeah, Do you have cheat days where you just go like, dude, I'm gonna have burgers, pizza, ice cream, whatever?
I do. I have a cheat meal every 10 days. I'm allowed to have a cheat meal, and I'll be honest, it's a proper cheat meal. So it's like it's close to 3,000 calories in one sitting. So it will be burgers, it will be ice cream, it will be donuts, whatever I feel like, and I've missed out on the last 10 days. It will all be in one sitting.
That's perfect.
Wow, man. That's awesome. I love it. So that was our conversation in the pod with Shad. One for the history books. We've got it done, Shad. Adam, thank you guys for an amazing pod. And Adam, you got anything else to ask Shad before we call it, man?
No, that's it. We'll look forward to seeing you NLC coming up very, very soon. Hope we see you in purple, looking good. And
see you in the T20 squad, man, for the T26 World Cup. You know, Shadley's going to be pushing it, and I think you're one of the most underrated cricketers. That's just me, because your batting has, a lot to offer, and if we use it, I think we can kill it in the T20 World Cup, man. So good luck to Shadley. Good luck to the USA team. Good luck to LA Knight Riders. Good luck to you in the MLC season, man. Nothing but best wishes for you and your family and your cricket journey.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. I had a good time chatting to you guys.
Absolutely, Shadley. Thank you so much. And again, Nabil Khan, Adam Bannon, and Shadley van Schalkwyk from the Reverse Scoop, calling off from this historic pod tonight, episode 32. So until next time, we'll catch you next week. Have a good night, everyone.